Welcome to the Young Man's Guide to Life podcast, where we seek to help young adults make beneficial choices for their lives through calling out misconceptions about adulthood.
Yes.
From learning from the mistakes of others, i.e. learning from our mistakes, and empowering young adults to take risks and enjoy their journeys. My name is Andrew, and I'm the host, and I'm here with my co-host, Erik Jensen. How you doing, Erik?
I'm good.
Good. We just got finished filming another podcast, and now we're here talking about way more fun stuff.
Yeah.
This is for the young people. This is more true to our heart. This is what gets us excited. We're going to talk about some cool stuff.
A little
today.
less freedom, a little less chance of getting fired, which is nice.
Well, equal chance of getting fired.
Equal chance of getting fired?
I don't know. Do we get more permission for talking to a different audience?
Well, I just feel like that, like the elders are not going to listen to this.
That's true. I guess they're not going to.
Like Gary Coates. Gary Coates is not subscribing to this.
I hope Gary Coates listens to this whole
Gary
thing.
Coates, if you're listening, you're my favorite.
Please.
For
Hey,
sure.
on this episode of The Young Man's Guide to Life, we're going to talk about Tiger King. We're going to talk about old people on TikTok. We're going to talk about learning something new. And today's lesson is actually going to be on renting and whether or not renting to live for shelter is for schmucks or not. So we're going to get to today. So
I love it.
Why don't we jump right in?
Okay.
I just finished Tiger King on Netflix. Have you heard about the show?
I definitely have heard of it. I watched the trailer. It's going to be watched by me.
So tell me, you've only seen the trailer.
I love the trailer.
What are you already thinking or picturing it being about from the trailer?
Well, so I'm American, and what I love about it is how American it is. Like only in America could somebody be that.
Be what?
Like a tiger park owner who is kind of, off his rocker a bit.
For those who don't know, the main character of
Check it out.
the show, Joe Exotic, is his given name to himself. He's got a bleach blonde mullet.
The mullet is strong.
He's a gun-toting Oklahoman, Southern
rhinestones, polygamist.
But yeah, he's a gay polygamous man. So he's married to two men. He married two younger men at the same time, and so at least he was. Now he's married just to one younger man. But he owned one of the largest tiger zoos, big cat facilities in America.
Yeah,
and so
which is bragging rights, right? I mean. That wins you like any competition. Those kind of things, I always love these, like story toppers, story toppers.
Yeah.
I want something in my life that like trumps everything.
Yeah.
Like I always felt like climbing Mount Everest would be like the thing. It's like, okay, yeah, you did some cool things. You played D1 basketball. I climbed Mount Everest. I feel like that's a trump card, Owning a big cat reserve.
Yes.
Is a trump card.
Well, the wild thing, though, you experienced from the show, and you haven't watched it. I'll try not to add any spoilers or whatever. But
no spoilers.
The wild thing is like there's a whole world out there of big cat zoo owners. And
they have like a Facebook group.
There's nothing normal about any of them. So it's like I went in thinking like, the Tiger King, the biggest zoo owner. Either he's the one crazy one, and they're all really normal. I think of conservationists. I think of like. I've been to the Toronto Zoo, and they all seem like really great, kind, educated, nice, thoughtful, generous people who just love animals and wildlife and stuff like that. And that's not untrue about these tiger zoo owners, but
it comes from a different perspective.
Well, it's just the ones they show on the show, at least. And maybe there's a whole bunch of good ones, and they only showed the certain ones on the show. But like one of them is another polygamous man married to, I don't know, 4 women, 5 women, and it's like almost a borderline cult that he's operating. But this is one of the most famous, biggest, popular big cat zoos.
Like a prerequisite to buy tigers?
And then
how many spouses do you have? Yeah,
that's the crazy thing. And then the third character on the show, the other main character, there's Joe Exotic, and he's competing against a lady named Carol Baskin. And Carol Baskin's supposed to be the environmentalist, like the person who loves, the cats and takes care of them and has a sanctuary. Hers is called a sanctuary. His is like a zoo, right? And there's a difference. Yeah. She takes care of them. At least there's these, this this idea that like
it's positive.
Joe Exotic abuses
like,
them and breeds them for money, which he does, and she takes
Yeah.
care of them, right, kind of thing. But she's still selling tickets and doing, people come in and see Tigers. Anyway, so this Carol Baskin, who's supposed to be like the good one, supposed to be the protector.
Yeah.
There's an underlying story about like, did she kill her rich former husband because he disappeared?
Yeah,
and
I
like
saw
so
that
there's
on
this whole thing about
murder mystery tiger version.
And I'm not convinced she didn't. Like, I finished the show.
Well, yeah,
not to ruin it. I'm just saying.
Yeah, okay.
I'm just saying.
All right.
I'm not convinced either way. Like, it's like you listen to serial podcasts. I'm done, and I'm thinking like, I don't actually know. Did the one
just so
supposedly
crazy.
normal
It might be
person
true.
is she as much of a narcissist? And did she murder her husband and feed him to her tigers?
Oh,
That's the wild thing. And
that would be a good way to get rid of a body.
Yeah, it's crazy to me. It's wild. It's worth watching. It's terrible but compelling television. Yeah. And for me, I was watching, and for those of you who don't know, I have a dog. Her name is Rory, and she's a Bernedoodle, which means she's a Bernese mountain dog and poodle mix.
Yeah.
And apparently they're in high demand. We didn't pay for her. It was just a guardian family thing. We won't get into details of it, but the point is that her puppies sell for like $3,500.
Yeah.
And so I'm thinking like, oh yeah, that's a dog, $3,500. It's an expensive dog, but like, okay. On the show, they're talking about baby cub tigers were like $3,000, and I'm like, I could own a baby cub tiger. I don't know if I can buy one, but if I could for the same amount of money, I could literally own a baby tiger. And like, why do I have a dog when I could have a baby tiger?
Yeah. Yeah, I guess that you just have to have multiple wives in order to buy one.
That's a prerequisite. I'll have to have murdered my first spouse or have multiple spouses. Yeah.
This is a little bit of a deviant from your point, but have you seen those kittens that are like bred with like they're like a tiger cat hybrid, and so they look like tiger cubs but forever?
I haven't. No.
Yeah, those things are cute.
That's actually probably the best of both worlds, because the whole thing, like one of the other things about the show is like there's the cubs, but they only last a cub for so long.
And then you have like a 1,300-pound killing machine
that costs you hundreds of dollars a day to feed that nobody wants to pet. Right?
You have to feed it like a whole goat.
Yeah. It's just
the cubs are cheap. It's the goats that get really expensive.
Actually, the funny thing, the way they feed these things is they get all like the expired meat from Walmart, so they have these truckloads
of, like,
delivering, like hamburger meat, hot dog meat, cold cut meat, just like offloading these things. And oh man, there's one of the episodes. Joe Exotic opens up a pizza parlor on site at the Tiger thing. You can watch tigers and eat pizza, and there's this belief that the meat that they're serving on these amazing pizzas are the meat they're getting for
Walmart
free
meat.
from Walmart. So it's wild. You could not write this
Only
better.
in America.
It is amazing. It's probably not kid friendly. Nope, don't watch it with your kids. And if you're someone who actually has a strong moral conscience, maybe just don't watch it at all. Yeah. But if you're young at all, you're looking for content that might be interesting.
We neither approve or disapprove of the Tiger King. We nothing the Tiger King.
Yeah, we're not supporting it.
Officially.
We're not endorsing it at all.
In case Gary Coates is listening.
But we watched it and lots of experience. Speaking of old people.
Oh, you are so getting fired.
That was not for Gary. I'm sorry. That was meant to be for if you're older and wiser and mature, not Gary. I'm sorry, Gary. That was not meant for you. So something else is happening while people are home with their kids.
Yes, the TikTok.
The TikTok. Are you familiar with the TikTok?
I know about it. I think I've missed the old people cutoff.
Okay.
Of the TikTok. I have no draw to the TikTok as a social media platform. I'm kind of a Luddite when it comes to social media anyway, but I know that it's like you post pictures of yourself dancing to popular music is essentially what it is, correct?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's like, they have all
they're
these
like
rights to
Instagram
music.
stories, basically, that...
Yeah, they're like, 15-second clips, and you like learn to do dances, and you like, I don't know, do you compete? I don't even know. Like that's... You
probably get upvotes or something.
We're in this weird season where our kids aren't old enough to like these things. Yeah. So
I know a lot more about Paw Patrol than I do about TikTok. I'll just be honest.
Right. But like we're also not teenagers who are into it. So it's a weird space to be. But one of the things I've noticed on social media is the amount of parents who are now at home with their kids who previously would have been like, TikTok's the devil. Stay away, it's inappropriate. And now they're like posting TikTok videos with their kids. And I'm going to be honest, I'm kind of uncomfortable with it.
Yeah. Because it's kind of, become kind of a lascivious teenage app, correct?
Yeah.
A little like Snapchat was for a season.
Yeah.
Snapchat kind of cleaned up its act, I think. They got a better PR guy.
Yeah.
But Snapchat was a little like that in the early days, too.
It was.
It was a little more like, eh.
Yeah. Everybody was saying, are the kids sending pictures to themselves that they shouldn't?
Right.
We should.
Yes, they were. But that's okay.
Were.
I mean,
right.
yeah, that's just the way that
So people are asking the same question about TikTok. So let me ask you, do you think TikTok should have a minimum age requirement and a maximum age requirement?
No. I don't know. I mean, I always think that, like, Facebook tried to do that.
Did they?
OG Facebook. See, this is now I'm really dating myself. OG Facebook, you had to have an @edu at Oklahoma.edu.
Oh, that's so OG.
Yeah. So you had to be enrolled in a college or university in order to be on Facebook.
True.
And then they did away with that. And then grandmas started making Facebook accounts. And now no one's on Facebook.
No one's on Facebook. Well,
I mean,
a lot
they're
of
on it, but
people are on Facebook, just no one of a certain generation.
Right. This upcoming generation, Facebook has gone the way of the MySpace.
So then maybe is this a pro tip right now?
This
as
is a pro
parent?
tip.
Is this a pro tip?
If you're a parent listening to this, first of all, kudos. Second of all, if you want to destroy your child's desire to be on a particular app, just join it. Because nothing kills an app faster than getting a friend request from your mom.
Yeah.
Right?
Especially the app where the whole thing is about dancing to secular
I don't want my
pop
mom
songs, right?
Just the Post Malone tracks. You know, see, I don't even really know. Is Post Malone still cool?
He is, I think.
I like his sound. I haven't listened to a lot of it, but it's cool.
Yeah, no, that's actually
really
nice. A really pro tip. And that's like good for anything. Like if you want to, not just to spy on your kids, if you literally want to make something uncool,
just kill it.
Get on
Just
it.
get on it.
So maybe there's a silver lining to like the old parents who are not the old parents, the parents who are at home with their pre-teenage kids going on TikTok with them.
Survive.
I'm super uncomfortable.
Coronavirus.
Maybe that's a silver lining. Yeah. What lasts longer? Oh, can we say that? What lasts longer, COVID-19 or TikTok?
TikTok. I think TikTok is going to die.
Yeah,
it's not going to survive. Yeah, as soon as people started posting their lip sync videos and their dancing and it's dead. You heard it here first, folks.
You heard it here first. I don't usually try to learn new things.
Yeah,
and it's like when it comes to apps,
I have no interest in TikTok or anything like that.
I'm weird like that because I'm only 28. Like I feel like I should be, I was just a youth pastor. Now I'm not anymore, but still youth ministry. I should like be into all the new stuff. And I literally don't care at all about any of it. I got off Snapchat like over a year ago. And
streaks, bro.
Yeah, I learned about streaks late.
How many streaks? How long of streaks you got?
So I'm not that into learning new things, especially new technology, but
you do like learning new things?
Well, not really, but I think I should. Like we're in the season right now where I'm playing a roller coaster game app because it's nostalgic.
Tycoon?
It's basically like a cheap version of Roller Coaster Tycoon where you don't have any freedom. It's like you basically you're forced to build rides in a certain order. Nah. It's terrible. Oh. But it is reminding me of Roller Coaster Tycoon, which was my favorite game of all time, which is the game I got in the cereal box that I never stopped playing. I loved it so much. So it's giving me that nostalgia, even though it's a terrible, useless garbage game.
Cereal box?
Yeah, they used to do these things where they gave away these amazing games in cereal boxes. Yeah.
On the CD-ROM.
Like Road Rash. I don't know. Did you play any Road Rash?
I do remember Road Rash.
Yeah.
It was a violent motorcycle game.
Yeah. So I was watching YouTube,
Road
of course.
Yahtzee came in the same box.
It did. That was the thing. There was like 4 terrible games, and then there was like one great one, and you just keep buying cereal until you got the good game, which you could have just bought the game for $5. But
that's cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I was watching YouTube the other day, of course, because that's what we're spending our time doing, watching some professor videos.
Yeah.
And then the ads that kept coming up weren't, I guess these guys are the only ones who are paying for ad space right now, are new apps that help you learn things. So like one of them was called Elevate. It's about like training your mind. One of them was about learning a new language. And then the other one was about learning piano. And I'm sitting there going like, is this a season to actually like learn something new like that that's actually useful and helps me be a smarter person?
Yeah.
So
did you see that Rosetta Stone did that?
Yeah.
They gave away the language, but only a 3-day trial.
Yeah,
and it's like, I'm going to be an expert in German in 3 days.
My Oma just became an expert like last year in Spanish. She got 100. She finally reached the 100%, fully 100% fluent, and it took her years and years, and she would do this every day for like an hour. So
Really?
it's probably not that easy to learn.
That's amazing.
And you're like, yeah, she is amazing.
Wow.
They gifted themselves a trip to Panama to go and use the Spanish that she learned.
I love that.
And then they went back this last year for anniversary. Anyway, yeah.
Yeah. So you have you ascribed to any of these learning new things?
Here's where I'm at. I'm at a place where I want to learn something new. I basically want to have an app that I turn on that's not the same apps I'm using all the time, that's actually going to teach me something useful or keep my mind sharp or whatever.
Yeah.
And so the kind of the toss-up right now is between chess and piano.
Right. Yeah.
And the chess thing came in because, I listened to a podcast and I started watching Magnus Nielsen or whatever, chess master guy. And I'm fascinated by people who are good at chess. And I'm like, maybe that's a good thing. Less practical skill, but more like, oh, man, it could be cool to learn how to be good at chess. I know how to play it, but not to be good at it.
Yeah, I've always felt like chess has sort of sharpens your mind in a different way.
Yeah, I think so. Because you got to pay attention to all these moves, potential moves in the future or whatever, and figure it out. That's the other, and you can help me with this, the other is piano. Yeah. I was always wanting to learn. I like to sing on my own, but I don't know anything really about music.
He's got a pretty good voice.
And
I'm saying, just calling it. You've heard it here first.
This mic might make it sound beautiful. So piano. So I'm thinking I've always wanted to learn an instrument, learn at least some music, background theory or whatever. Piano seems to be the one, if you're going to learn any of them, learn that because it helps you do the other ones. And I had an acoustic guitar, learned 4 chords on it. That's all you really need to know. But it's in my basement. The guy who lives in my basement plays all the time. I don't want to take away from him. So I can learn piano on I'm basically on my iPad. What would be your I guess. If I'm to go and start to learn piano, what would you say? Here's a pro tip about figuring this out.
I'm the worst person to ask about learning music. I don't actually know what I'm doing. So I took lessons for a long time, but I can't really read music. So what I would do, honestly, here's the advice that I give to people who want to learn an instrument. You have to feel cool doing it. You have to want to do it. If it's like a chore for you, it's not fun. Again, this is just my take. If it's not fun, then it becomes a chore, right? And I think that music should be an expression of joy and it should be fun, I don't really want to listen to playing hot cross buns. So my piano skills are very limited in what I know how to do, but I have fun when I'm playing it.
Okay.
And so there's a trade-off there. You know what I mean? So what I learned because it was fun, not because it was the way to learn. So I'm probably the worst person to ask about this, but I would say that I would say that gear is important. You're gonna learn on your iPad, that's fine, but if you take it to the next level, I would buy something that's worth money. Don't waste your money on little starter set guitars and stuff. It's lame, it's dumb. Buy something that works well, that is gonna stay nice, and that's gonna see you through a little bit. Don't buy this $99 guitar amp package. Although that's how I learned, I guess. So I can't knock it too much.
Well, that would be so. If anybody out there listening has a pretty nice keyboard or synthesizer or whatever that they're not using, that you would love to put in my hands to help me learn, I would love to have that in my home.
You could use a MIDI controller, a weighted MIDI controller. That's what you should really get, because you have a MacBook, right?
Yeah, I have an iPad. I don't have a MacBook anymore.
Oh, you have an iPad? Okay,
but it should work the same, right?
It should. Yeah, there's probably apps out there. So, try that, and that's a great way to start. They're $100 if you buy a MIDI controller. Yeah, they're not that expensive because the brain's in your computer or your iPad or whatever.
Does all the work.
Buying a keyboard, it does all of it in house. So you're buying another computer basically,
right?
Which is a waste of money.
Yeah. Huh.
Anyway,
okay.
That's
a pro tip.
On your point, I'm trying to learn something. So
what are you trying to learn?
I saw my YouTube feed. I clicked on a couple of those masterclass links, Ron Howard teaching you how to direct and stuff like that. And now that's the only commercial I see on YouTube now because of the hashtag the algorithm. And so but it's actually been cool. I saw one for that Timbaland. You have to sort of say it that
Timbaland,
way.
We're talking Nelly Furtado, that song that got famous.
Jay-Z?
Jay-Z, Timbaland, producer guy. Does he still make music for everyone?
Yeah. I think he does.
When I think of Timbaland, I just think of the
masterclass
boots.
videos.
So
yeah,
that's what throws me off.
That's what it's an homage.
Is it?
I think it is an homage to the boot. because it was very popular. And then
they
early
came back
2000s.
like 3 years ago. I saw kids wearing them. I'm like, what is going on? Anyway, go on.
Anyway, Timbaland. So he does a masterclass about producing music and making music, and the way that he does it sort of like walks through all these things. And I think I might subscribe to that one. You can buy those. Actually, masterclass. If you would like to sponsor us, we would love to endorse your product.
We're looking for sponsorships for sure.
We're kind of doing that right now for free, so I don't know why they would, but it is really cool. And I want to learn how to like make beats and produce music and record vocals a little bit more. And he does it kind of from a bedroom, from the eyes of a person who doesn't have access to professional recording equipment.
That'd be awesome.
You just need a mic and a laptop and a drum machine, and
I've always wondered how those things come together. I have GarageBand, but
yeah, that's basically all you need. Basically all you need, man.
Damn.
So that's what I'm learning new. But I think that's awesome. I think anybody listening, I think to use time that you have, like you're rich in time right now.
Yeah,
so like jump into, we talked about this last podcast a little bit, like jump into your passions in a new way. It's a really cool opportunity.
It is a really cool opportunity. Hey, the thing I want to talk about to young adults today, the pro tip, the learn from our mistakes or call out misconceptions, that all the other stuff we talked about, helpful, cool, but this is what we're talking about today. We're talking about renting today, and we're talking about not just renting things, we're talking about renting homes to live in. And I feel like there is a perception of renters or renting, and that perception is that renting is like throwing your hard-earned money into a black hole. And so don't rent. Stay living at mom and dad's house until you can buy a house, or live in a tent until you can buy a house. Yeah. Never rent because it's a waste of money. What are your thoughts?
Oh, I kind of agree with. I subscribe to that a bit. I don't love the rent game. The renting is, it's the reality for many, and it's the reality for me. I rent right now.
You rent,
because in our current market, houses are not affordable for the amount of money that my household brings in. So, which
Masterclass could help with.
If I produce some sick tracks and
I'm looking for sponsorship money.
Me and Posty,
yeah,
start making music together. That'd be cool. Post Malone, if you're listening, I'm open to collaborating. I'll have to take Timbaland's class and learn first, but yeah, no, I think if I was a young person now and I was redoing things, I would be more disciplined to set aside money early on. And try to prepare myself for the inevitability of purchasing a home. But we were like sort of having this debate earlier a little bit.
I don't fully agree. I don't fully agree with, I think it's a misconception about renting, or maybe an extreme perception of renting that I don't think is fair. I don't think it's honest to renting. And here's my take. My take is that renting is the less ideal option. If you have money, you have an inheritance, you have money for a down payment, you are able to live the way that you want to live or feel called to live and not pay rent for a certain amount of time in order to save up money and then get into a home or get into a condo or own something. That's great. That is ideal. That is good. Yeah. We shouldn't, I'm not going to celebrate renting over that. There are some good things with renting we'll get to. But the perception that renting is like throwing money into a black hole, it kind of bothers me because I'm a renter right now. I've been a renter my whole life. I've never owned a home. I'd love to one day.
Rob and Hilda used to charge you rent when you were a kid?
Rob and Hilda charged me rent since I was born.
Wow.
Yeah, I know, it's crazy. They're
smart on them.
Terrible humans.
I bet you they own their home.
But they do own their home. Wait, that makes so much more sense. Yeah, but so for me, I'm thinking like, what am I working for? What do I work for? Do I work to store wealth? Is that the point of working? What is the point of making a wage? What is the point of working all the time? And there's obviously like there's the side of working that's like just doing something you're called to do to make change in the world and whatever. Yeah. Put that aside. Just practically, I work to pay for food, clothes, and shelter. That's what I'm working for. And so, one of the three major things that most of my money goes towards, and in this case, the thing that the vast majority of my money goes towards is shelter, like everyone else, whether you own a house or you rent a house. The difference is, in certain markets, owning a house, you're able to build up equity. And so it becomes an investment rather than just, paying money for someone else to build up equity in that home. But the reality is I still have to live, and I still have to I still
Sleep
have
somewhere.
need shelter, and I still have to sleep somewhere. And my parents, they've been charging me rent their whole life, like we talked about.
Yeah.
And they still would, but they would probably charge me less rent if I wanted to move home with them. Now that we gave them a granddaughter that they love, they would probably not charge us rent to go live there. I know.
You got leverage now.
The rent payment could be here, play with Winona for 3 hours.
Yeah.
It's like a win-win-win, actually, all around in that scenario.
Yeah, so you're talking yourself into
talking
moving
myself
back into your parents' house.
But the reality is I actually miss out on a lot of stuff by living in my parents' house. Like I miss out on so much stuff. Last week we talked about like what is the point where you become adult? We can argue about this and debate it, whatever, and it doesn't really matter. No, but the thing that we said was, maybe one of the markers is you're actually paying for everything yourself.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm missing out on certain things to learn about life and growing in life and taking steps forward if I am still stuck at home, living at home, mom's doing my laundry, don't have bills to pay, mom's paying my phone bill. Like that can go on for a certain amount of time where it's wise. Maybe you're in school, maybe you're learning something, maybe you just got married and it's wise and you're getting set and you're saving up or whatever. But like if you let that go on too long, you end up just like missing out on life in order for what? To save up for a home, to own something, and is it worth the trade-off?
Yeah.
And I would say, for me, it's been worth the trade-off, throwing money into the quote-unquote black hole. I've actually lived, like since I've been married, my wife didn't have to live with her in-laws. Yeah. And I think that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Or at least it's good for us.
Yeah. No, I mean, for sure. I mean, everybody's situation is different, and I think that when you're if you're a young adult and you're approaching these kind of questions and you're thinking about renting and stuff, like it is kind of a reality. Like, housing in the GTA is like you need like $500,000 to buy a house right now, no matter where you are.
Yeah, and the smallest houses.
Right. And if you're going to live anywhere decent, it's $750 million. That's insane to me.
Which the down payment is
right. Yeah, and then you're
10%
paying
of that, right? 20%.
So, I think that there are also programs that help like first time home buyers. There's there's things that you can do to get around that. My biggest take is actually kind of from a philosophical position, like because you had mentioned earlier that one of the great things about renting is that you can be more transient, right? Mm-hmm.
I didn't mention that on this podcast, but that is one of the benefits of renting is freedom and being transient.
Freedom, And I think that one of the cool things about buying a home is that it is a thing that sort of anchors you. In a world where, like, the years of you doing something for 30 plus years and retiring from the same company and, you were, like those things are kind of gone in a lot of ways. Like the reality is most people are going to have a couple careers and, they're going to do this and that and, maybe have a side hustle or whatever. And that's just kind of the reality. There's nothing that kind of anchors us to a space. And I think that from a social, like, what is it when you have more people, when you study people? What is that word?
Anthropology,
anthropologically.
Sociological,
Sociologically and anthropologically.
Sure.
I think that buying a home contributes to culture and society in a way that nothing else does. You can, but it's harder to have pride and ownership on something that you don't own.
No, you don't. It's not the same.
You don't care really what the outside looks like or that it's there in 100 years or that, the landscape looks nice because it doesn't reflect on you. Yeah. You don't invest in the relationships with your neighbors and with your community.
True.
And,
it's harder to, for sure.
Right? Because it's like, I'll probably live here for 10 years maybe. But, that's a long time. But then we're moving on. So I think that from an economic standpoint and from a anthropological standpoint, I think there are some really good benefits to it. But like I said, the reality is, so, renting is not bad, but I think that we should target something further down the line than the next 3 years.
I think we should, and I think we can, and I think that's wisdom if you can.
Yeah.
But I also think, and this is my take.
Don't feel bad about it.
This is my take.
You shouldn't feel bad.
You're not a schmuck for renting, and it might actually be better for you. It might be best for you. You might need, if you're a young adult, you're hearing this right now, the best thing for you might be to get out of your parents' house and start paying rent. right?
Yeah.
It might be the thing
Nothing
that
grows you
actually
up.
finally
Yeah.
grows you up.
Yeah.
You're learning what it takes to live in the world. You're learning what it takes to do everything on your own, pay for everything on your own. And yeah, sure, that money might go into a black hole for a little while.
Yeah.
But you're going to learn things doing that are actually going to help you as a person and as a being more if you just do that than sit around and wait until you have enough money to own this, perfect home that you think is perfect for you or whatever. So it's not for schmucks. No. Some people have to rent, and some people in certain circumstances have to rent, and they're not schmucks for doing it. It's not throwing money into a black hole. Best case scenario, if you can own property, great.
Yeah. And I would say that, like, even if you're a young adult, even if it's not buying a home, like, save it money now.
Yeah.
Because you could invest it in something else. Like when your friend has a killer idea for a company and you want to be in part of the investment. Like that's the thing that smart people do is they put a little bit aside so that they can be flexible with their investment. It's not a home, make it something.
Yeah.
Because that's good.
Yeah,
it's
it is
good sense.
Hey, thank you guys for joining us on our Young Man's Guide to Life podcast, listening to us, watching us, wherever you're getting this media from. Yeah. We hope that this was helpful to you. We hope that it was practical for you. We have future episodes coming up. We're going to talk about things like, hey, I only know how to make myself a bowl of cereal. I have no idea how to cook, but most food places are closed. I'm used to going to the bar and getting food. Now I can't. What do I do? How do I cook? We're going to talk about that.
I love that.
Something we're also going to talk about is getting married young. Like how old is too old or how young is too young to get married, and can you do it? I asked you last week, how old were you when you got married?
I was 21.
You were 21. I was 24, and that seems crazy to some people. Some people have all these misconceptions about what it means to be married, what it takes to be married, and we're going to have some conversations about that as well as other adult things. So if you have any ideas for the podcast, send it in. Andrew at renewchurch.ca or Erik at renewchurch.ca. We'd love to hear about them, and we look forward to you guys joining us next week on our episode of Young Man's Guide to Life.
Boom.